Most traders think they're playing the market. But the truth? They're playing themselves. You enter the trading world believing it's all about finding the perfect strategy, the best indicators, the cleanest chart setup, the flawless entry point. You study price action, buy expensive courses, follow signal services, jump between mentors, and still, nothing sticks. Why? Because you're solving the wrong problem? The market doesn't beat you. Your emotions do. Your impatience, your greed, your fear. You need to be right. The real game of trading isn't out there, it's internal. Let me ask you something. Have you ever back-tested a strategy that worked beautifully on paper, only to blow up when you actually traded it live? Have you ever taken a trade, watched it go against you, panicked, closed it, and then saw it reverse and hit your original target? Of course you have. Because nearly every trader has. That's not a strategy failure. That's a psychological failure. It's not that your system didn't work. You didn't work the system. This is the trap most traders never escape. They think the market is some unsolvable puzzle, that it's about more knowledge, more tools, more complexity. But the truth? The market is a mirror, reflects your inner world. When you're afraid, it gives you a reason to panic. When you're greedy, it dangles a setup you'll over-leverage. When you're undisciplined, it rewards you just enough to make you overconfident, and then it humbles you. Hard. Let's be real. You can give two traders the same exact strategy and get completely different results. Why? Because execution is filtered through psychology. That's the hidden game no one tells you about. The game that's invisible on the charts, but always playing in the background. The pro trader learns this early. The losing trader never learns it at all. And that's why this video isn't going to give you another setup or indicator. It's going to give you what really changes the game. A new way to think. Because until your mindset evolves, no amount of knowledge will save you. Let's move forward and start rewiring your perspective from the inside out. You know what kills more traders than bad setups? Expectations. See, most traders are addicted to outcomes. They need to win. They need the next trade to work. They obsess over P&L like a gambler checking chips after every hand. And just like gamblers, they ride emotional highs and soul-crushing lows. Every single day, they celebrate green trades like geniuses. They spiral on red trades like failures. Win, confidence skyrockets. Lose, doubt creeps in, discipline disappears, and they start chasing. This is what I call outcome addiction. And it's a disease. But the pros, they don't care if the last trade was a win or a loss. They care if they are executed properly. Because they know trading isn't about a single outcome. It's about consistency over time. Probabilities, edges, data, discipline. They've accepted something most traders never do. You can do everything right and still lose. And you can do everything wrong and still win. But if you repeat that process long enough, the truth shows up. Let me give you a story. Two traders, same setup, same strategy. Trader A wins, Trader B loses. But Trader A broke the rules. He got lucky. Trader B followed the plan, took the loss with discipline. Who do you think wins in the long run? Exactly, because luck is not a strategy, but the process is. Think of trading like professional poker. The best players don't get emotional over single hands. They think in terms of expected value, EV, over 1,000 hands. Did I play my edge? Did I protect my bankroll? Did I stay calm under pressure? That's how pros think. That's how you need to think. If your entire identity as a trader is tied to being right, then the market is going to rip you apart. Because no one, and I mean no one, is right all the time. You're not trying to win every trade. You're trying to win the game of discipline over time. Shift your focus. Stop obsessing over outcome. Start mastering the process. Log your trades. Review your execution. Grade your decisions, not your profits. Because profit is a byproduct, not the goal. Let go of your need to be right. Replace it with the hunger to be consistent. And when you finally do that, you'll stop being a fragile trader who reacts to every tick. Start becoming a focused operator who sticks to the plan, no matter what. Now, let's dig even deeper. Because once you start thinking in processes, you'll need to protect that mindset from its biggest enemy, ego. Let's talk about the silent killer in trading. Ego. It's the voice that whispers, "You can beat the market. You're different. You don't need that stop loss. This trade's gonna work." And that voice, that's the one that destroys accounts. Most beginner traders aren't just trying to make money. They're trying to be right. To prove something. To themselves, to others, maybe to a screen full of red candles. But here's the harsh truth. The market doesn't care how smart you are. It doesn't reward pride. It punishes it. Let me take you back to one of the most dangerous ego-driven stories in trading history, Nick Leeson. He was a young star at Barings Bank, brilliant, confident, rising fast. But he made a few bad trades, then hid the losses, then doubled down again and again. Why? Because he couldn't admit he was wrong. He believed he could fix it, that he had to fix it, that if he just kept pushing, the market would come back and validate him. It didn't. He didn't just blow up his account. He collapsed an entire 200-year-old bank, all because ego refused to take a loss. Now compare that to a process-driven trader. Same red candle, same losing trade. But instead of trying to be right, they accept the loss instantly. They journal it, learn from it. Move on. No drama, no denial, no meltdown. Because to the professional, a loss isn't a threat to identity. It's part of the game. They've made peace with being wrong. Because they know that long-term success is built on humility. You can't control the market, but you can control your response to it. And that response is everything. When your self-worth is tied to your win rate, every loss feels like a personal failure. But when your self-worth is tied to discipline, every loss becomes just another trade, one of many. Detached from being right. You are not your trades. You are not your profit and loss. You are the operator of a system. And your job is to execute, not to predict. Remember, ego wants to be right. Discipline wants to grow. Which one are you feeding? Because once you silence the ego, you free yourself to follow the plan. You become a machine, calm, unshakable, focused. And now that ego's out of the way, it's time to go deeper into how real pros approach the market. Not as gamblers, but as business operators. Most traders walk into the markets like hustlers. They want quick flips, fast cash, big wins. They treat trading like a lottery ticket, not a profession. They chase signals, over-leverage, risk everything on one big move. All heart. No structure, but pros? They treat trading like a business, because that's what it is. Let me break it down. A hustler thinks in terms of today. How much can I make this week? What if this trade doubles my account? An operator thinks in terms of years. How can I protect my capital? What's my edge over the next 1,000 trades? A hustler trades like a gambler. An operator trades like a casino. And guess who always wins in the long run? The one with the system. You want to know the real difference between amateurs and professionals? It's not intelligence. It's not strategy. It's structure. Pros have rules, risk parameters, journals, routines, pre-trade checklists, post-trade reviews. They know exactly what a good trade looks like before they take it. Every decision is filtered through risk and reward. Every action is measured by return on investment, not emotion. They understand the concept of overhead, the cost of staying in business. And losses? That's just operational cost. Not personal failure, not devastation, just math. Think of it this way. A restaurant doesn't close down because it had a slow Tuesday. An operator doesn't panic because of one red trade. It's not about winning every day. It's about surviving every day and scaling wisely. Ask yourself this. If you looked at your trading like a business, would you hire yourself as CEO? Are you running a stable operation? Or are you gambling with company funds and praying not to get fired? It's time to stop thinking like a hustler. The market doesn't reward desperation. It exposes it. Start building systems. Track data. Protect your capital like inventory. Think in percentages, not dollars. Trade less, but trade better. The moment you start operating like a professional, you stop being another trader hoping for a breakout and start becoming someone who builds a real, repeatable edge. And that brings us to the next mental shift, the one most traders hate the most. Patience. Most traders lose money, not because they don't know what to do, but because they can't sit still. They need action. They need movement. They need something, anything to trade. That's the gambler's mindset. The beginner opens the charts and feels uncomfortable doing nothing. So they force a trade, take a half-baked setup, convince themselves a signal is valid when it's really just noise. Why? Because they don't want to feel like they're missing out. But pros wait. They wait and wait. and wait. And when the setup finally aligns, they strike like a sniper. One clean shot, precise, measured, high probability. You've heard of Jesse Livermore, right? One of the greatest traders of the early 20th century. You know what he said? It was never my thinking that made the big money. It was always my sitting. Let that sink in, sitting, waiting, doing nothing. He understood something most traders never learn. The real edge isn't just in the strategy, it's in the timing. Let me give you a parallel from poker. A world-class poker player might fold 80% of hands, not because they're scared, but because they understand edge. They know most hands are trash, and playing them will only bleed their stack. But when the cards line up, and the position is right, they go all in with calm aggression. That's how pros operate, in poker, in trading, in war. Think like a sniper, not a machine gunner. The market will bait you to act. It will flash half setups, tempt you with FOMO, push you to do something. But the strongest traders, they sit. They wait for their moment, not any moment. They'd rather miss 5 trades and take 1 A+ setup than chase 10 B ones and bleed out. Because they understand, silence often wins. Every time you press that button, you're placing capital and emotional energy at risk. So stop trading just to feel productive. Start trading to be selective. You're not here to stay busy. You're here to stay profitable. Patience is profit. Wait for the market to come to you, because when it does, you'll be ready to execute without hesitation, just like a pro. And once you've mastered patience, there's one final shift that locks everything into place. Discipline, the trait that outlasts talent. You can't trade like a pro if you still see yourself as a gambler, because mindset follows identity. Every single time. If deep down you believe you're just a lucky shot, a hustler riding a hot streak, a small-time player trying to beat the system, then that belief will bleed into every decision you make. You'll overtrade when you feel invincible. Revenge trade when you feel exposed. Quit when the luck runs out. Because you weren't built to last. You were built to chase. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't become a consistent trader by finding a magic strategy. You become one by becoming a consistent person. Starts before the chart, before the setup, before the trade. It starts with how you see yourself. Let me ask you a simple question. Are you a trader, or are you just someone who trades? Because there's a difference. Trader, a real one, has routines, has boundaries, has discipline. They protect capital like oxygen. They think in years, not minutes. They build systems. They evolve. They survive. But someone who just trades, they wing it. They treat trading like a side hustle, and it pays them like one. They measure themselves by daily profits. They chase highs. And when things get hard, they disappear. This is identity confusion, and it's the root cause of almost every self-sabotaging habit in trading. You want consistency? It starts with the story you tell yourself. You must stop seeing yourself as a guessing gambler and start seeing yourself as a disciplined operator. You're not just clicking buttons on a screen. You're running a performance machine, a risk engine, a business built on focus, data, and execution. Look at the greats, Soros, Druck, Livermore, even modern-day quant traders. They don't rely on hope. They rely on process, identity, philosophy. So rewrite your story. Stop trying to win the lottery. Start building a long-term edge. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be professional. From this moment forward, trade like someone who plans to be here 10 years from now, not someone hoping to flip $100 into a Lambo next month. Because when you shift your identity, your habits follow. Your focus sharpens. Your discipline becomes non-negotiable. And that is when everything changes. Now that you've rebuilt the mindset, let's bring it all home. Here's the hard truth that no one wants to hear. This is the work, not a fancy new indicator, not a secret strategy, not 1,000 backtests or some hidden edge on Reddit. It's this: mindset, discipline, identity, patience, detachment. This is what separates the traders who survive from the ones who blow up. But most won't accept that. They'll keep chasing shiny objects. They'll download the next Signal app. They'll hop from one strategy to another, never understanding why nothing works. Why? Because the real work isn't glamorous. It's not dopamine-filled. It doesn't feel like progress. It is progress. And it's hard. It's hard to journal every trade when no one's watching. It's hard to wait for A-plus setups while the market tempts you with noise. It's hard to take a loss, breathe, and move on without spiraling into revenge. But that's the job. You want to trade for a living, then treat it like a profession. Because in this game, your biggest opponent isn't the market. It's you. Your impulses, your overconfidence, your fear you need to prove something. The market is just a mirror. It reflects every weakness you refuse to fix, every mental gap you try to hide behind strategy. But if you face it, truly face it, you become something rare. You become a trader who lasts, a professional, an operator, a survivor in a world where most burn out. And the best part? You don't need a massive account. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to be consistent, disciplined, patient enough to master the boring things. Because those boring things, that's where the money is. So here's your choice. Ignore this and keep chasing hype like everyone else. Or commit, really commit to becoming someone most traders never become. A calm, focused, patient professional who doesn't just trade but outlasts. You already know what needs to be done. Now the question is, will you do it?